Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. TGS happened, but there was a lot of like Japanese games that I was like, I don't really have any opinions on, so I just really didn't write them down. Like I saw Sega has a new mobile RPG. There's a new dungeon crawler from Square Enix, and a bunch of stuff like that. But there's stuff that happened that we can talk about. But first, we got an email, and it's from the boy Mark. So thank you again. That is unversepodcast@gmail.com. So he's talking about, since he has HBO Max, he decided to dive in and see what's on there, and he decided to check out The Boondocks. Didn't cross my mind at the time, and the reboot's coming soon, so why not? Let's see what the show was about. He had a blast with it. He was enjoying the show. But the thing is, right, he's not the target audience. And then he also checked out Black Dynamite, another one. It's really good. He's not what the show writers were going for, essentially, what he's getting at. So he asked, what's a show that you saw and enjoyed, but it wasn't towards, you weren't part of the demographic, I guess. I just have similar answers, man. Shows like that were always hilarious. And, clearly it's not targeted towards us, but it's still funny nonetheless.
Oh, dude, that one fucking movie I was telling you about. Hold on, let me pull it up.
For my example, one particular show comes to mind. It was called Girls, and it was created by that lady that nobody really likes. Her name is Lena Dunham. Yeah. So she made that show a couple of years ago on like HBO, and I was like, I don't know, I got like 4 seasons into that show. Now I think that was like where Adam Driver got really famous too. So I don't know, it was definitely not for my audience. That show did kind of have its moments, although I don't really think that I can watch it again and be like, yeah, I can get the same message. I'll probably just get like a lot of angst. So yeah.
Okay, I found it. Sorry. I've been trying to think of this name for a couple days now. It's Dolomite. So Jake and I Jake and I saw this movie on YouTube. Well, no, we saw that there was a trailer coming out with Eddie Murphy and Wesley Snipes basically redoing the story of Dolomite with like actual stories, and like some of the people that were in the original film actually got brought back to like play older characters. It was a really, really good movie, but the original it's based off of, I think it was the first of its kind to start the like blaxploitation in films. And let me tell you, man, 1, it was a terrible movie. 2, it was great because it was so bad. And 3, it just like Jake. I mean, look, man, I'm Mexican. Jake is full blown white. You got 2 different demographics watching this movie that was made for the African Americans, the black community, and we were both like, I get it. And I think Dolomite went on to make like, I think 8 to 12 more movies after the fact because it did so good, like as something new to the community. But to answer the question, yeah, this when we were watching it, we were both like, I don't know if we should be watching this. But it was great, but bad. But the Eddie Murphy version, fantastic. Highly recommend.
For me, I can only think of right now is manga-wise, Onemonogatari, aka My Love Story. That is a shoujo manga. Of course, that's not for us. We're the shonens. But I read it, and it's great. It's hilarious. The writing's fantastic, and it's clearly going for the usual stuff you find in a shoujo manga. But because it's in a different perspective, the main focus isn't the girl, it's actually the guy. That's where I found it great and hilarious, and not something where I'm like, why am I reading a shoujo manga? Because if I see the shoujo logo, I'm walking away.
I mean, if you really think about it, couldn't we say the same thing about like Sailor Moon? It's not like Sailor Moon was like really like demographed towards like young men, and some people, at least for me when I was a kid, when I watched Sailor Moon, I was really into it, and then we ended up doing an episode about it. We read the manga.
It's not a damsel in distress, and it is a darker story than what you would think, at least for the manga. I think that's what separates it from what you would expect in a shoujo magazine, and why I enjoyed it, because it doesn't have all the stuff you would expect for a series to be targeted towards the ladies like that. I was streaming the other day. We're talking about bullshit in anime and how if it's based off a manga, things are going to change. Like in Blue Exorcist, I guess they fight Satan at some point in the show, which is crazy because that hasn't even happened in the manga. And so his question is, was a retcon or something similar to that you didn't like or you did like? The one I always go to is with a Kamegakyo. I mean, sure, it wasn't like super good at the end, but you know there was a good story there, and then the anime decided to cut it short and merge 2 arcs together to end it off, which is crazy.
I guess maybe you can confirm this for me, because I live under a rock. I don't always know what retcon really means, but the ending of Soul Eater was not the real ending, and I still haven't finished the manga. But that ending to Soul Eater anime was great up until that point, man, and then it just fucking took a huge shit on everything.
Bro, Metal Gear is just full of retcons, so that. But then with that, it's like a kind of a really ugly flower bloomed after that to make it feel like, you know, it's all wrapped up. But if we're gonna go anime, dude, Deadman Wonderland.
Oh my gosh, honestly, man. Yeah.
There's a lot that they pulled out that it could have left in.
I think that's the worst too, when you cut characters out, because you know you're not going to get that far to their story, but they're still important.
Yeah.
Could we say the same thing about Fullmetal Alchemist? Because that's pretty much the only example I can think of.
Kind of.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's an interesting one, because the studio did tell the mangaka, they're like, hey, we caught up. What's next? She says, well, I'm not there yet. Don't spoil it. Just do your own thing. And then that's how we got the first anime.
And then we got Brotherhood. That was the more politically correct one.
Yeah,
right?
that was the
canon to the series.
Pretty much 1-to-1 from what I hear. Yeah, but
I never read the manga, so I wouldn't know.
I mean, it's not. I didn't hate the anime. It just took a weird turn with them going to the real world at the end. But we got the movie out of it, Conqueror Shambhala, and I like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
actually, both of the series are really great. Honestly, like they can each be standalone. They don't really have to be compared to one another. They're both pretty good on their own. There aren't too many examples of something like that happening, right? Where you have something that's retcon and then just as itself does good enough to just, you know, have good representation versus negative representation. Like Fullmetal Alchemist by far is probably the only example that I can think of besides anything else that's happened.
Well, Black Cat, I know. I never finished watching it because I only watched one episode, and it was not the manga at all. It was like a whole different thing that they were doing. Like, Train was still the assassin he is or whatever, walking around being Edge McGee and stuff. I was like, what the hell is this? I'm checking out.
We just saw this one too, fucking Evangelion.
Oh, Evangelion? Yeah.
Yeah, Evangelion.
Yeah, which we haven't talked about. We've watched Thrice Upon a Time, and
anyway,
I wish I didn't watch the movies. So, thank you for the email, Mark. And again, that's unversepodcast@gmail.com. So let's go ahead and dive into this. Again, not a lot of stuff here, but TGS-wise, the main things I picked up was Final Fantasy. We got a new trailer, and we got the new trial for Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. The fact that our main character just says bullshit, pulls out his phone, plays some edgy music, and walks away. Like, that's amazing. Yeah, so I hopped on, I streamed it, and apologies if you see me die like, I don't know, 60 times on those bosses.
Get good, bro.
They look rough.
It's an interesting game. We mentioned it the last trial. Me and Adam were saying, like, you know, the combat, when you get used to it, it's actually enjoyable. And it feels a little more smooth in here. And all you get to do is just the same thing as the first trial. So you have one mission. They added one more. And then there's a side mission. Just diving in, they added a couple new features. I didn't try out the multiplayer, but they added that, which I thought, hey, that's pretty cool. You could play as the other people in your party. And I thought, okay, well, that's nice. But I was thinking, well, how does that really just going to work? Because that's going to be kind of boring at a certain point, right, if they're just going to play the same. What they added with this trial is when you grab weapons and armor, you can equip those if they're compatible with your other party members. So there's more customization there. It's like, oh, okay, cool. So if you hop online and you play their version or your version, however it works, it's not going to be the same.
I guess what kind of incentives do you get for joining on somebody else? Like, I didn't really know too much for sure, but watching you play and then the first trial, I got like more of a Dark Souls thing, or the Neo sense, more than anything really. And from there, I was thinking like, okay, so you know, with that logic, if I'm following that, you know, are you going to get some sort of like currency or like Amrita, like, you know, so that way you can dispense back into your characters? Does it kind of work the same way, or is it kind of just you get XP based off of enemies you destroy? Like,
That's the weird thing about this game. There's no XP, there's no souls or anything. There's not even... Your character doesn't have a level. What has levels is your job that you pick. So the default is swordsman. And then depending on what weapons you can pick up, that unlocks the new job classes you can use. And you can have 2 at a time and swap pretty easily during gameplay. And so you can level those up, and those will give you like extra stats, right, for attack, damage, defense, HP, and all that stuff. And then you pick up drops, which will be weapons or equipment, and then those have levels. And so your character is based off the average of your equipment's level. So when it says like a mission is level 8, your inventory has to be an average of higher than that for you not to get your ass whooped. And it's really weird, and it gets frustrating because right now I'm stuck on this last part of the side mission where you have to fight the bosses back to back, and you know they could do anywhere between 40 to 60% damage on their mana attacks, on their spells and all that. And there's really no way to grind for better stuff unless you're just going to be killing those bosses, because I'm already at that point where, you know, my things are level 20 and stuff, but still getting wrecked. So that's the frustrating part.
Based off what you just said right now, is there like a difficulty meter that gets raised when you enter a mission, or it's just kind of standard? Like if they offered you, 2 main missions and a side mission, the side mission is level 8, right? And the main mission is like level 3, and then the other one is level 5. No matter how many times you do those main missions, you're always just going to get level 3 gear or level 5 gear. Like, you won't have a way for you to just go back and do those missions until you're ready to do the side missions.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like kind of like Neo, right? The levels, they stay the same. You can't really change them. But there is a difficulty setting. There's easy, hard, and then just regular. So I guess you can just move to hard, and I guess they'll be harder, and you'll get higher level stuff. But I'm not ready for hard.
So you mentioned that, it's pretty easy for you to basically take a job, have another, it was like you can have 2 jobs per character is what I was guessing, right?
Jack, yeah, he gets 2.
Were you able to kind of mess around or manipulate how many classes or job combinations you can make? Like, is it kind of like an example where if you have like that swordsman class, right, and he's got like that great sword on his back, and let's just say the game can let you be a white mage, right? Are you able to like heal yourself without switching?
You have to switch to the other class to use those abilities. There's a lot of customization in this game that's really cool. It takes a long time to, you gotta sift through everything and all that, kind of like in Neo. So each class gets its own armor that you can equip and weapons. So you just stack up on all that stuff, and then you get to customize it like that. So when you hit triangle to swap to a different class, you also switch the armor that you're wearing. On the skill trees, when you unlock stuff, there is 1 or 2 abilities you can unlock that you can equip to your L2 actions, and then so you don't have to switch classes to use those. So there's that one that works too. And then when you max out a class, you unlock the next tier, which I thought was pretty cool. So just a standard mage, when you maxed it out, you can unlock white, black, or red mage, and then you could switch to that job class and then upgrade that as well. There's the executions you can do when you break the gauge on the enemies and you hit circle, and then you could do a finisher. That stuff looks great. The way he brings out the crystals is just like, yeah, I feel the edge. And level design, I mean, it's nothing to really gawk at. It's similar in vein to what they did in Neo. More linear, because right in Neo, like those maps are big and you could branch out, but eventually come full circle. Here, no, it's more of just a straight line. And then you just unlock shortcuts to go back to the, I guess the shrine. I forget what it's called here. But no, I'm liking it. Aside from just the frustrating parts about the bosses, it's cool. The fact that they have phases and there's like a little cinematic in between you going into those phases is nice. But yeah, definitely, I'd say check it out. And then, of course, they have the survey to give out pointers. And they mentioned at TGS they factored in the last survey and changed a couple things in there.
Yeah, it did look entertaining based off what you were doing and what I saw. I didn't know how to feel about certain things, like when you bring up the scroll wheel for your spells.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, basically, from what my understanding is, not only do you have to select which one you have to do, but you also have to charge it so you can see which tier of spell you're trying to do and how strong it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like all of that while you're also trying to avoid a boss coming at you like immediately or like doing all this other stuff. So you were fighting was it like the elemental spirit representation of Ifrit and Shiva?
Yeah.
And I was like, so this thing is fighting like 3 people, including the spear, if the spear even like does anything.
No, it doesn't.
Including the sphere, it's like, okay, so whatever. So there's 2 enemies, right? And like you're basically having to do this and that, and then having to basically take the time to bring up the scroll wheel and then do the charge and then select the right spell and then fire it. And I was like, that to me seemed like that might be a bit too much. Like if anything required a little bit of tweaking, they could have tweaked that part a little bit better, just so combat seems a lot more fluid.
Yeah, we got the release date though. I think it was March next year.
I think it's 22nd.
The 22nd.
Yeah.
Nice. Just other things to know. I like the music in there. It's pretty, I guess, Final Fantasy. And there's just one track that plays in the second mission when you're just walking around. It's like, oh, this is, it's nice. It's tranquil and matches with the environment. It's like, that's cool. And then I was just laughing at the armor you pick up, and I look at it like, oh, this is like some high fantasy shit. And some of this does not match with the other armors you wear because you just look goofy. I don't know, like every time Jack talks in the cutscenes, I can't help but laugh because I'm like, this is real. I know for sure Jack, I think he's from like a normal world. I don't remember about the other characters. I mean, they're all wearing tennis shoes and like normal t-shirts and stuff, but one guy, I forget his name, but he's got pink hair. I'm like, you look like a Final Fantasy character. You do not belong in the same world as Jack. You guys aren't buddies.
You guys are not the same.
We are not the same.
So I am curious to see more reactions from Final Fantasy fans because I think you were pointing out too, Adam, and I saw on Twitter like, oh, look at all this stuff from the other Final Fantasy games that's going to be in here.
Yeah, dude, that shit's crazy, man. There's an area that's literally from Final Fantasy 13, so I just need to hop in, and then it makes me want to go back and play 13 because if they're referencing 13, there's probably something there, like lore-wise. So I'll do the homework for it.
Yeah, because this game is still Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, because Garland's only in 1. And then the fact that they have Tiamat in the trailer, that means that this is going to be the story of 1, just tweaked up a little bit.
Well, see, the thing about Final Fantasy 1 is it was more like a Part B story after Part A just finished. Because the way that Final Fantasy 1 starts is we already start pretty much at the end of everything, where you have to go into the castle right outside of Cornelia, and the king is just basically saying, hey, I sent my hero over there. He hasn't come back yet. Go check up on him. Mm-hmm. And then from there, that's basically where he discovers who he is and all that other stuff. So I have to imagine that the Strangers of Paradise thing is taking place during like the whole Plot A thing, where Garland is investigating the castle and trying to find out the secret and meeting behind the castle. Not a castle, I shouldn't say castle. The Shrine of Chaos. That's what it's called.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking too, Oscar. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And then the other Square Enix stuff was Final Fantasy VII First Soldier. Again, this is the Battle Royale that's coming to mobile. And we have a November release, and pre-registry starts this month. There was no dates for either of those. We got to look at some gameplay. I only saw a little bit, and it was basic Battle Royale stuff. So all I have to say is I hope you're ready for some FPS, Adam, because...
Yeah, man, that's going to be one where I'm going to have to just get used to the FPS and Battle Royale.
Yeah, I mean, there's also like other stuff in there from Final Fantasy. Like you cast spells, and when they dropped the character they picked was holding a staff, so there is some melee options there too. So that's what has me interested. The fact that it's not just only gunplay, but there's other stuff in there to make it different.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited, just interested to see how well it really does on mobile. I mean, it's only going to be on there, so I wonder if that'll ever change or we'll just keep getting updates to it.
That would be nice. But I guess that depends on how well it does. And while we're still in the fantasy settings here, Oscar, I hear you beat Tales of Arise.
I had just cleared over 90 hours in the game, and I finally beat the game yesterday. Overall, I would give the game. I would say I would give it like 8 out of 10. The game is shorter than other Tales games. It is like pretty linear in the sense where you don't really like revisit other places a lot or quite often. So it just pretty much goes straight forward, kind of like I would say like Final Fantasy X does. The story is really good. To me, I explain this a lot off record, but out of like all the Tales games that I've played so far, it's definitely a second in like my top 3. The story is very dynamic and it's very unique in the sense where all the other Tales games that I've managed to play by far don't have the kind of I want to say that dark, like it's like very dark. This game, the story that's like taking place in it is a lot more, I want to say, gruesome, like really real, if that makes sense. Like, not to say that this is something that can actually take place in our world or anything like that, but you can definitely understand all of the animosity and the real issues that happen in this game and all the things that take place inside of it. Like, it's very interesting. I'd say that if you cop it, it's definitely worth the time to go through. It has a lot of replayability options too once you beat the game. So I can say that even though I put in 90, there's still at least a good maybe 40, 50 more hours for me to do. And that's not even including New Game Plus. Like if I really wanted to just go ahead and try to plat the game or just try to do absolutely everything that I could within the game, there's still plenty for me to do.
That's what I like to hear, man.
You like the demo, right, Adam?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, dude. It's like what I mean, I haven't played the recent Tales games, so like that was Berseria and Visteria. I didn't play those, but this was like what I wanted in a Tales game, like just the combat wise, and then even the because I don't know if you did this in your playthrough of the demo, Danny. Like if you hit L1, just the dialogue is so nice between all the characters. Like it made me miss Tales games because that's what I really enjoyed about them when I first got into the series.
You're talking about skits?
Huh?
You're talking about skits, right?
Yeah.
Like when you're not fighting or anything like that, and you're in the overworld.
Yeah, dude, that shit's so much better now.
Every Tales game has skits. This Tales game has 320 skits.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude, yeah. It's just really nice to see. Like, it gives you a good slice of life of like what your characters are like experiencing on the road, you know. But anyways, no, dude, that's what I want to hear about the game. When I played the demo, I beat the shit out of it, or played the shit out of it, and I really liked it. So I know this is going to be on my backlog very soon once I get through Yakuza.
One of the main things that you probably want to try to get your hands around as soon as you start playing it is just get a feel for like the combat. This game is like is basically like the poster child of what the battles of the Tales series could be like moving forward. This is very different. It's very unique. It's a lot better, even better than Zestiria, especially better than Berseria. Like, well, don't get me wrong, because I like Berseria more than I like Zestiria, but either way, like, those genre of Tales games are good, but they don't compare to the older ones, and they also don't compare to the PS3 ones that came out, Exilia. So, like, I just think that this is definitely going to give you a good opportunity, like, to just really explore and do everything is the way that you've always wanted to, and all of the characters. Well, you've seen all 6 characters, so there aren't any other characters than what you played in the demo. But if you really went through and played through each and every character, then every character's battle style compared to when you actually use them on the field and stuff like that, it all goes hand in hand. I'd say one of the craziest things about this game by far, I've seen on YouTube like quick 2-minute videos of people doing nothing but straight crazy combos, just swapping out characters super fast and pulling off all sorts of crazy boost strikes and spells, and it's pretty awesome. It's pretty intense.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's something I wasn't expecting for the series. 'Cause I always thought it was like a turn-based RPG, like typical stuff you see in Japan, and having that kind of gameplay was pretty fun, and how crazy you could get on the field when you have you and your 3 other main party members, right? Because 2 on reserve, so they're not on the field. Just seeing everything pop off all crazy, and then boom, you get the flash to do like a quick finisher with somebody, and all that stuff was really cool. That's what mainly drove me in. The skits were fun. I did hit one where somebody was cooking, but they don't know how to cook, and then it just goes into this whole thing. And yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty fun.
Okay, I'm interested in seeing who you guys would be considered good characters or bad characters once you actually start playing that game. In the beginning, it's like, you kind of get used to everybody and the way that they are, and then by the time, I want to say maybe 70, 80% through, I feel like you're going to hit a point where you're going to be like, okay, this is as much as I'm going to get. And then at that point, I want to try to reach out to you and ask you then, like, how are you feeling about all these characters? Like, just after everything is completely and fully fleshed out and you get to see not just the good parts about them, but also the bad parts about them too. Because I also think that that's also something very important when it comes to, like, I want to say like a poster child game like this being like AAA as it is. There's always, I think, the good parts about Tales games are also including the bad elements of it as well. Because, well, for me personally, bad elements of certain games are also what makes the game for you. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell you how many times I played like okay, Tales of the Abyss. It was the one that they had it made for the PS2, and the bad elements of that game were pretty much besides technically the graphics, it would have to be some of what you do during the story, and like just the interactions that you do with the story.
Yeah, bad games are good, man.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know that they are good because you just have to keep playing it or manipulating your way around it or something until you get over it. Like I'm not gonna lie, there are bad things about Silent Hill, right? But you played through them and beat not only the first one but the second one, got through some of the wonky mechanics, and still managed to make it fun.
This is known. Silent Hill bad. That's why it's good.
And that's why you're playing 3, right, Gerry?
That's why 3 is playing me.
Just wait till you get to 4, dude.
No, 3 is. I'm gonna be disappointed with 4. I can feel it.
Dude, I know, dude, but that's why it's so good.
The fourth one is Downpour, isn't it?
No, it's the Room.
It's the Room.
Oh, the Room.
I'm not gonna play Downpour. I'm not gonna play another one. I'm just gonna play the numbered ones.
Yeah, dude, that's all you need to play. I mean, maybe Homecoming, but that was probably the last.
I'm good.
Last really good one.
I'm good.
Or you could play the running simulator, Shattered Memories.
Shattered Memories. Oh, he was a hard pass on that one. That's a no hesitation. That don't talk to me.
So from what I played so far, I remember pretty much what my dad used to play, and I don't remember it. Like I just remember certain parts, but I don't know gameplay. I will tell you this, dude. Heather can fucking run, bro. Like something about her dad and James, dude. They are like carrying rocks with them, bro. Because Heather can. There's this item I got. I thought it was a fucking end game item, but apparently it's not. Because apparently in the Nightmare world, you could just find a bulletproof vest lying around. It's all good. Don't think about it too hard. And then so you put it on, and like that item is supposed to be good for. There's like a secret ending where you get like 75 plus melee kills or some shit like that, and you gotta do something else. I forgot. But so that helps with that because all the monsters are just fucking like. They're hard, dude. Like I put bullets into them. Like it's not like the other ones where like if I hoard, like I just become a fucking like a bank for bullets. Like I don't need to use many to kill enemies, but this game, holy shit, dude! Everything is so hard to kill, man. Everything has a health. Heather can take a few hits for sure, and that's what I appreciate about that. But overall, like I kind of I'm kind of know what I know what I'm expecting and like what's gonna happen, but I don't know how it's gonna happen, which is like the best part. So I just can't wait to like go through this game and just fucking find out that she's a fucking god all over again.
Gerry, with the degree of difficulty that you have with the bullet sponges in the game, do you feel like that makes it even a tiny bit, would you say, better or worse?
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. So the thing is, like, it's on normal, bro. And I'm already like, dude, this is hard. Like, I think if I made it hard, because I don't know how much spongier they become, with the higher difficulty, but for now, like, I'm sure if I put it on hard, they would hit me harder, which means in turn I would die a lot quicker. I haven't died yet, but yeah, it makes it for sure like better, because knowing the fact that like I only have so much ammo for like the next fucking monster I have, and I wasted all my fucking bullets on the stupid dog. I really have to be have to hoard my ammunition. With the health items, it's not so bad right now. I'm still maybe like the first level, so
there's plenty for you to find, and they're not scarce yet.
Yeah, I haven't hit the first boss yet, so I'm still a baby.
Kind of reminds me of like Resident Evil 1 with the tank controls, like where you like get
Bro, Silent Hill and Resident Evil are kings of tank controls.
Kings of tank controls.
With the kings of camera angles.
Oh my god, yes.
Couldn't you move the camera angle in Silent Hill 1?
You can, like, only like a little bit though. It's crazy with the other ones though, because like the other games, like you okay, so in this game Heather looks at open doors. Like, what door can she actually use? She looks at it. Like, her head turns to the door, and like it's like, oh, I could go through this one, instead of wasting every fucking 20 minutes just trying to figure out which door opens or not. The other games, not really, but with Heather, like, I really love that about it. I kind of hate it too, because it takes away the fun, just fucking figuring out what door opens and which one doesn't. Yeah, it's only like the cinematic kind of camera. You can move the camera in front of you in certain spots, but there are some spots where it's like, nah, it's showing you what you have to interact with. Yeah, for the PS2 game, for PS2 era, that's pretty smart.
Yeah, at least it's assistance. It was
PS2,
like
PS1,
entry level.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
Entry level assistance. But like I said, man, I think that's cool. And like I was saying earlier, it's bad elements that make a good game. You have to be able to work with those bad elements and find ways around them, like bullet sponges. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Oh, I just run. Fuck fighting them now, dude.
No, wait. Because
I have to mentally map out like the room I'm in. Like, I have to run in circles for like a few times to really get like the area. But like once I get it in my head, like how far the fucking door I need to go through is, like I just play with it. I just play with the monsters at that point. I'm kind of like, you can't get me, you can't touch me, and then they touch me, and I'm on red health, and then that's when I leave. I'm like, all right, I have my fun. And I'm about to.
I remember watching you play Silent Hill 2, and you were going pretty ham. Running up on those nurses and was it like hobbled dogs or whatever?
Yeah,
and just beating the shit out of them with an axe.
But that's because like I had ammo. Right now I don't have ammo. I don't have guns. I just have a pipe and a handgun.
Is it too early for you to tell if you can melee the majority of your way through the game?
Yeah, it's still pretty early. There are some. I remember reading a strategy guide for fucking Silent Hill 3, right, a long time ago, back when like Game Informer and shit, or tips and tricks. That's what the magazine was called, right? Fucking, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do that you can fucking miss easily in this game. Like, I don't want to give anything out, but one of the cool things is like there's a part where you get an iron pipe, right? And you have to throw it, like you're in a sewer level and you have to throw it in the water, and then you get a gold pipe. Because of fucking... I don't even know if this is going to happen, but because a fairy just fucking like comes out and gives it to you.
So they're just like doing homage to Zelda.
So I've heard. So I've read in the fucking... I don't know if they were trolling me, but if it's in the fucking article, like this was a time before trolling. So I can't wait to try that out. But yeah, right now it's still pretty early so far for me to tell. The enemies I'm fighting right now are still pretty weak, even though, like, despite all I've been saying. So until I find actual nurses, I'm gonna be using these bullets I find that are just lying around, and my feet. Yeah, there's fun stuff on that Twitch/Gerry Omega. You'd be a fool to not go.
Yeah, swing on over there, guys.
Tunes in on Tuesdays and Saturdays.
I finished everything for the director's cut for Death Stranding. There was really only one real mission that involves the story in a way. It was nice. You get more lore about characters and a deep understanding of what went wrong between two characters in the story. I was like, oh, that's really nice. And you get to this new area, which is just I keep forgetting the name of the base in Metal Gear Solid.
Fucking Shadow Moses.
Yeah, basically you go to the Shadow Moses level, which is pretty cool.
Hey, Danny, real quick though, Shadow Moses is also a song for Bring Me the Horizon.
Is it? Perfect.
Yes, it is.
Heck yeah, man. I unlocked the racetrack, which is super cool, man. You unlock a new vehicle, the Roadster, and that thing is slick.
Yeah, buddy.
That thing is slick on the road, man. I finally took it off of the racetrack and went to go somewhere, just driving on the highway. You're like, oh man, this thing, it looks and it feels smooth. Like, oh man.
Just for shits and gigs, that's pretty good. I always love it when like there's a fucking like there's something a game lets you use, and then like if you like it enough, it lets you use it like indefinitely and not just in the mission, like just to fuck around.
Yeah, it's cool. You have to do the S rank on the racetrack with that vehicle to unlock it. I mean, the racetrack, it's cool. There's only like 2 versions of it, and then the other 2, it just gets reversed.
Alright, but unless it's like fuck you hard, you said racetrack, and if it's a fuck you hard racetrack, that might be the first and last time I ever used that vehicle. So was it fuck you hard?
No, it would just be frustrating here and there because, you know, the roads, they go in the air and stuff because that's just how the chiral network works, I guess.
It wasn't like Jak and Daxter, was it?
No, it wasn't. It's not bad. It's just when you get towards the edge, there is an invisible wall. And then if you hit it and you get stuck, you have to back up and all that. And you just waste your time. And that's when I click restart and all that. But once you know how it works, then, man, you get in there and it's a good time. Sure.
I think it's just that's pretty much any race. That's cool that they put that in there.
Yeah, I guess I didn't pay attention to what the tutorial was telling me, I guess. But there was a drift button I didn't know about, so that could have helped. Could have helped a lot.
You just learned how to race without sprinting.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dog.
Yeah, but I will say that there's new music for the racetrack, too, which I don't think I found on YouTube yet, but man, those are some good tracks. It really gets you pumped, and it does fit the theme of what the other songs sound like in Death Stranding, too. So I was like, damn, Kojima, like, you do know what you like, man. This is great.
Sir.
If you're post-game like I was and there wasn't much else to do, then you could just focus on the new stuff and then just have some fun with it. And, you know, of course, I mainly do photo mode stuff, so that was worth it for me. But if you haven't touched it, then this is, again, the best way to play the game, for sure, is the director's cut.
How many packages can it hold? And because the game isn't primarily for racing, how was, like, the mechanics for driving on and off the racetrack? Do you feel like taking that car off the racetrack gives it more versatility to completing the main goal, which is just getting the packages there on time and, you know, undamaged, all that good stuff?
It's definitely it probably is the fastest vehicle in the game, and that's not even hitting the boost. Like it's pretty quick, and it's not built for packages. Like you could put stuff on there, but you're not expected to carry a whole lot. It's just there to look cool, which is nice, and then you could change the paint job on it too. You're like, man, yeah. But the racetrack part though, I would recommend only the Roadster. I mean, maybe the truck, but yeah, like the truck and the bike, they're really not meant to be taking those tight turns all the time, especially the bike, because if you're trying to get an S rank on that mission and you have to boost the whole time, that bike is not built for that. So, I mean, unless you could drift on the bike, which I didn't check, but if that's not there, then I wouldn't recommend using those vehicles on the racetrack.
So with the degree of difficulty it took for you to get the Roadster, and just as far as you were at the game, like, was there really a point to it? I mean, considering that you really can't put any packages on it, it's not. I guess my question to you is it really useful or not? I mean, going out of your way to even get it and unlock it just to be able to use it in the rest of the game, is it worth it?
I would say it's worth it if there's still stuff to do where you have to travel somewhere, because sure, if you have a good zipline system going, then you could just use that. But it gets boring after a while. Like when I was playing Director's Cut on stream, and I was like, well, I can't use the zip lines, but I'm just gonna grab the bike, go on the roads, and just enjoy the view. So that's really what the vehicle is for, to just really get somewhere a lot quicker if you don't want to use the zip lines or fast travel. Really, stuff like that, it's mainly for post end game. There's really nothing else to do. So just if you still want to hop in the game and do some stuff, that's what that's there for. Like all the other stuff that you unlock, like the new weapon and the new equipment and the new things that can help you, like the catapult, the stabilizer, the buddy bot, that stuff will help you for sure in the normal gameplay. But post, it's just there to be there. But right on, man, let's go ahead and tackle these other news spots right here, both involving Sony. The other day, the rumors are true, they bought Blue Point. And this is the company that, is mainly focused on remakes. So they did Demon Souls, which was the latest one, which just sold 1 million copies. So that was pretty cool. They did Shadow of the Colossus and a bunch of other games. They also work with ports sometimes. And the long-standing rumor was that Sony purchased Blue Point, and they're working on Metal Gear Solid 1, which is pretty cool. People want that for sure. But I think I read somewhere that they do want to focus on doing original games rather than just remakes all the time. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, the MGS remake is still pretty fresh in the air. So we'll see where that goes.
Bloodborne.
It's too early for a Bloodborne remake, though.
It's not early enough, dude.
If anything, they could just port it to the PS5 and make it better.
I'll take that too, dude.
Who else did Blue Point do?
These nuts.
He had to get them. Yeah, besides the ones... so they did the ports for the Uncharted collection as well as the MGS collection that was on PS3 and Vita.
So is that what the IGN article meant the other day that I shared when they were talking about reprising like IPs like Castlevania, Metal Gear, and I forgot what the other one was.
That's a different one. That's another fucking rumor. Again, I take that shit lightly until Konami themselves to say that, like, yeah, that we're
it does correlate to a point because of Metal Gear, but the Silent Hill one, that stems from not Blue Point, but they're called something else.
Virtua. I think it was like hold on, I got it right here.
It was Blue. It was Blue something. A bunch of shit with Konami games right now. Like they passed off. I know that they passed off Silent Hill to the Medium team.
Yeah, they're trying to revamp their industry. So they know how much they're bad.
Well, they just don't care because of the pachinko machines, right?
That's why they're like, but we do care, guys. Here, see, we're doing work. So it's just speculation now that they got it. But they're... Okay, so Konami is just like convulsing inside the fucking stomach of itself right now. It's like moving around. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to like it. It's going to be shit, but there will be applause.
There's more rumors for the new Twisted Metal game that's supposedly coming out. The last time we heard that they might be making one to go along with the show that's going to be going on. And the new rumor suggests that Sony gave the team that made Destruction All-Stars the IP so they could work on the new game. And, you know, of course, I think that makes sense, right? Because I know people said the first thing people said for Destruction All Stars was, why isn't this Twisted Metal? This should have been a Twisted Metal game. So that's cool. I just hope whatever they're doing with the game, it doesn't die as fast as Destruction All Stars does.
I've discovered Rob Zombie on Twisted Metal. I don't think like there's gonna be a story. There is a story.
There is a story more or less, right, for Twisted Metal.
I hope if they're gonna go with any story, if it's gonna be like Sweet Tooth's fucking, we know that's the main character, dude. That's the fucking dude on the box.
Well, he's technically one of the main characters now.
Yeah. So, which makes me think that, like, what are they gonna? Are they just gonna be it's gonna be a completely new story altogether? Is there gonna be like a Twisted Metal Black story, which is actually really compelling?
I didn't play Black, but
I'm kind of excited. You didn't play Black, bro? I'm about to call a kill right now.
Black excellence.
But I think for the most part, every Twisted Metal is like the same formula. There's this person who will offer you to make a wish if you win Twisted Metal, right? But the wish is always a monkey's paw. So every single time that like you beat the game or whatever and they get the wish always ends up fucking them over one way or another. To my understanding, except for the one that came out for PS3, all of the Twisted Metals were basically like a reprise of just that, where they would like redo the story based off of that one, except I think the one that came out on the PSP, which had like this when like all the characters' stories kind of like wrap around each other and like all connect with each other, something along those lines. And that one was the only one by far that had like a different kind of story for Sweet Tooth, where he had like this twin, and then at the end of everything, like Sweet Tooth actually was this dude, and there was no Sweet Tooth, or like some bullshit like that.
We got more insight on the process of God of War Ragnarok and why it took so long. One of the reasons was because they actually stopped production on the game for a few months, not because of COVID, but because of Kratos himself. One Christopher Judge, he had to get surgery. He was paralyzed, and he had to get like a double hip replacement and some other stuff, so they halted production on the game. Because, as you know, much like the other big Sony companies, they do motion capture to capture the stuff with the cutscenes and stuff. The surgery, and then plus with COVID, yeah, no wonder the game has to be delayed till next year. But that's interesting. Which, again, goes back to what we said last week about how it's taking too long to finish the story, so we're going to wrap it up here. I'm like, I don't know. We could have just had another game after this. But with on a final note, though, I don't think you saw it yet, Oscar, but we all saw Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
Fantastic movie.
It's a great movie. You need to go see that, Oscar.
And there is only one post-credit scene, and it's like in the mid-credits, so stay for that.
I didn't see Venom 1.
Watch that one first, dude.
Yeah, watch it first.
Yes. Do you like the early 2000s vibes of those superhero movies like Daredevil, Elektra, Ghost Rider?
Oh, yeah, with Ben Affleck, Tobey Maguire.
No, dude, it's Ben Affleck, not Ben Affleck.
I was just thinking Ben Affleck.
It's Ben Affleck, dude.
But yeah, I vibe to those.
Then you're gonna love Venom and Venom 2.
I haven't seen Tom Hardy in like a character role where he's not only the I want to say like the physical, the dominator, like the muscle, but also like I guess comedic relief. So like, how is Tom's character in the? I'm not his character. I know how Eddie Brock is, but I mean just how is Tom Hardy playing Eddie
Very
Brock
good.
in Venom?
He's good.
Fantastic,
Funny.
man.
He definitely like fills out Eddie pretty well.
Yes.
I think.
Yes.
Man's got big lips.
I mean, if you want to be like politically correct with it, there's probably like a few, minute differences, but overall, I think he does a fantastic job. Like I've told these guys, I really wish I saw the first Venom in theaters because of how much I ended up enjoying it and like the portrayal of Venom and Eddie Brock.
So I'm reading the series right now, so I'll tell you when I get there.
I'm just gonna say I don't know how he is in the comics because I don't think I've read that much with Eddie Brock in it, but he does his. I think Tom Hardy does his own version of it, especially like you could tell with the accent exactly what type of character he's going for. But he's great. You know, Tom Hardy's a great actor, and he just proves it that he has good range too. Because the one thing I didn't expect for Venom 2 was to be laughing that much of how he was in that movie. Forget the haters. That movie was worth it. Especially go see it in a theater, right? Because I think just having the audience there helps with this kind of movie.
Oh yeah,
because you hear all the laughs and everything. Yeah. But all right, man. I think with that we can go ahead and wrap up here for today. Thanks for swinging by. There is a new Marvel talk. It dropped yesterday when this episode drops. And we go more in depth about Venom 2 and all that stuff and catch up on a bunch of news that we missed since the last episode. And then as usual, manga reviews, Webtoon this week. Gerry, as he said, going to be doing some Silent Hill 3 at Gerry Omega. And then I was streaming Stranger's Paradise, but now the next game I'll be streaming, going to tackle the remake for Resident Evil 1. And that's twitch.tv/Negator7. And then later today, when this episode drops, we'll be streaming to get hyped. Gonna hit up the All-Star games and that shitty Cartoon Network game. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's gonna be a good time.
Yes. I'll just say Captain Knuckles, he's broken. And then if you want, you can follow us on social media at Unverse Podcast. And then again, the email is unversepodcast@gmail.com. So thank you guys, and we will catch you on the next one.